Good morning. Good morning. We've just had thunder and lightning outside, so I hope we're going to see you okay. So we've obviously got one of those very, very localized storms coming through at this very moment. Okay, so so let's have some fun today. I've got a few things to talk about, I'll admit. So, and we've got the seminar is going to be on OneNote Trump, funnily enough, and we are going to talk about what is called other OneNote Trump contracts. So you can work out, you'll see what I mean when I show that. Only a short seminar today because I've got lots to talk about. So what is going on the site? Well, of course, I introduced Julian and David last time. A lot of you will know Julian Pottage and David Stevenson. They're going to run a forum, one on laws and ethics. That's David Stevenson, EBU director, and Julian Pottage will be answering your bridge questions as well as me and many others. Of course, the lovely thing about a forum is that everybody can have a go if they wish. And we try to get on Facebook as well, and I know Julian's on Facebook too, so lots of interactions there, and it's nice to have so many people involved as well. So I'm going to talk about Mr. Bridge today, and we're going to talk about the future. So I'm going to do that after the seminar, and what we're hoping for is to discuss what might happen, what might be coming. So and I've got the prize winner, and I'll talk about obviously what we leave ourselves with on Friday, which is hand evaluation. And in fact, that is what I'll start you off with here. So let's go to that. So this is the hand I left you with on Friday morning last. Okay, have a look at that. You'll see that the vulnerability is non-vulnerable, north-south, opposite vulnerable east-west. Okay, non-vulnerable north-south against vulnerable east-west. You're sitting south, you're looking at that hand, and you are assessing things. I will tell you, for the purposes of this, that you are the dealer. Okay, and all I want you to do is when you're assessing your hand, when you are assessing your hand, at least be aware of what any bid that you choose to make will mean. And so what I'm saying is, what consequences might your bid have? And of course, bear in mind the vulnerability there. Okay. Also assess the hand. I mean, even if you weren't opening the bidding, you'd want to be assessing your hand. Okay, so that's for us to look at. Again, we'll look at that halfway through, and obviously if someone reminds me at the very end of the event, I will show you the bidding quiz where you can get the answer. So as I say, we're going to talk about some of the things that have been happening, and with that then talk about the future and what it will hold, and I'm hoping that's going to involve us all, so that we will be able to interact and discuss, both for my site, for holidays, events and all sorts. So we'll look at that after we've had a little look at the seminar. A little shout out to Jay there. Jay has responded on chat there, and I think she's only just got that fixed, because I know she was chatting with me and my wife over the weekend. So nice to see Jay making a comment there. And you'll find that if you have got problems, we will try and fix them for you. Okay, we will try and fix them for you. There is a heart in the top right hand corner. Ruben, you're quite right, and we'll discuss why that's there. So I think we will go to our little PowerPoint presentation today. Now, this comes with a little bit of a warning. Oops, I'm one too far there. There we go, that's where we should be starting. Declare and play OneNote Trump. You didn't see the rest. So a couple of tricky hands. I'm not really so interested in the intricacies of the play, but on understanding OneNote Trump. So on the site at the moment, we are doing Declare, Play and OneNote Trump. And to make it nice and easy for the set hands, most of them, I think all of them, are opening OneNote Trump. And of course, that is the most common one no trump contract you have to play, where it's a blind one no trump contract with no information. Now, a couple of the ones we had a double. And of course, a double makes quite a difference because it tells you a lot about your opponent's hand. So when you're playing one no trump doubled, yes, the stakes are increased. Oh, I don't know if you got that effect, but that was lightning in the background. But it tells you, can you hear that, everybody? I don't know if you can hear that, but that's a nice rumble of thunder. So what do I mean by other one no trump contracts? Well, of course, one no trump opening bid is not the only time you're going to see it. Okay, you're also going to have a one no trump overcall. Now, interestingly, quite often when that one no trump overcall, when you do that, the points are going to be in your favour. So it's very subtle here. So one no trump double on your left, oh, it doesn't feel good because the points are on your left, and whereas one no trump, if they open something and you bid one no trump over their opening bid, okay, then of course the opening bid's on your right. Okay, what other contracts are there? Well, of course you get that one no trump response. So your partner's opened a spade or a heart or something like that, you respond one no trump and you end up as the declarer. It's a very different contract, and we're going to see this when we talk about defending against one no trump on the site. It's a very different contract to defend against when you're in one no trump as the weak player rather than the stronger one. So it's very interesting. So we're going to look at these two contracts today. Not much to it. So let's look at this one to start with. So playing a one no trump overcall is going to be quite similar. Playing one no trump overcall is going to be quite similar to one no trump double because we've got information. Okay. And I want you to use that. Now I'm going to show you a hand here where experts are going to use every single piece of information there is, and I want to show it to you just to show you what can happen. I do not expect us all to be able to absorb every single thing that is possible, but it's interesting to see what can happen here. Okay, so let's look at this hand. It's going to be one no trump by West. However, South opened one club. Okay, so South has opened one club, and South is playing a weak no trump system. He's opened one club, and you decided to overcall one no trump, which seems a reasonable option, and that finished the auction. Okay, that finished the auction. Okay, so North is on opening lead, and North leads the King of Spades. So hopefully you're having a think about that. I need something before duck. I need top tricks, and it shouldn't have taken you too long to add those up. Okay, it's one of those ones where it's 3 aces. We are going to duck, I think, the first spade, but it's 3 aces. So I'd have put 3 top tricks to start with as a part of my plan. Also, okay, so let's put that up. What's the other thing I want you to be thinking now? What's the most, generally when there's bids in the auction, so much of what we've been looking at is one no trump, pass, no information at all. When it's been one no trump double, or it's a one no trump overcall, Elaine's got it there, it's points. We're going to talk about points here, and that's crucial, okay? Because once you've got information, if you know there's points, it's going to make a big difference. So let's do it. Let's add up some points, okay? Okay, so I'm expecting the King of Spades to be a strong suit because North has chosen not to lead their partner's suit. You don't have to lead your partner's suit in this kind of auction, okay? But I would suggest that North has at least the king and queen of spades. Well, that makes quite a lot of difference. Let's put it in there. 21 points between our two hands. I hope everybody's happy with that. 16 in the hand on your left and 5 on the hand on your right. Okay, so it's 21 points, and I'm giving North the king and queen. So that's 26. Okay, I have a feeling it may even be king, queen, jack, but at least king, queen. So there's 26 points. Now this is interesting, and again this is something that comes from experience, okay? So some of you will think, okay, there's 14 points left, most of it will be in the south hand, okay? However, there's something very important here. Because south has a weak hand, let's say 12 to 14 points, we actually know that south cannot have a balanced hand. Because if south had a balanced hand, he would have opened one no trump. So that is tricky. But we are going to find out that by trick 2 or 3, we're going to have a fair idea. An expert is going to have a fair idea of almost south's precise shape. It'll actually be a trick 4 if I'm honest. Okay, and that's because we do not think, now again you've got to trust, I do have to emphasize this, that this is against competent opponents. So do not complain when south turns up with 13 points in a balanced hand because they just decided to open clubs because they liked them. Okay, we're assuming that south is a competent player, and if south had a balanced hand with 12 to 14 points, south would open one no trump. And that's going to make quite a difference, and let's see why. Okay, so let's carry on. The king of spades goes, and we're going to ask ourselves where all the diamonds are. Okay, because you'd have thought if North had 6 diamonds, he might have either been tempted to lead them or even bid them. Okay. So we're expecting the king of hearts, I think, to be in the south hand. A number of people have said that. I mean, it seems, you know, that south doesn't have a particularly good club suit. And I suppose if he had 6 of them, he might have opened with an 11 count. Okay. Tenlessness, I like that. Okay, king of spades is led. And I think ducking is reasonable. It's going to give you a better idea of how the suits break. So I think ducking is reasonable there. We don't mind a switch. I mean, a diamond lead switch wouldn't be great. North continues with the queen. Now, at this point, I'm pretty sure that North has the jack as well, to be honest. I can't see, you know, if he only had king, queen, usually if he really wanted to lead them again, I think he'd have let a small one. So I think that's giving us even more information. North started with the king, queen, jack. Almost all the other points are going to be in the south hand. Can you see that? So that's important information. South has started with 2 spades. Okay, so we know a lot about south's hand now. If south has 5 clubs and 3 diamonds, then he would have a balanced hand, 5, 3, 3, 2, because we're thinking he's only got 2 spades. Okay, if he only had 2 diamonds, North would have 6 of them. So I'm starting to think that south might have a doubleton heart. So this is really tricky. But I'm just, what happens when you're playing one no trump with a lot of information is you've got to try and use it. So an expert is starting to think that south has king doubleton heart, okay, here, and is probably going to play him for that. Okay, so we're expecting him to be short in heart with the king as well. Remember, playing the ace isn't going to make much difference to you here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to play a small heart to the 7. For 2 reasons. One, we would love south to be on lead. We don't think he's got a spade left. So we'll play a small heart to the 7. South happens to win the 10. And no surprise, he switches to clubs. We're going to be interested to see whether North has one. So we put the queen in, we're pretty sure that's going to win. North does have one. So what are you thinking now? So what you've got to do is try to picture South's hand. He's got 5 clubs. Okay, surely he's got 5 clubs because he's got to be unbalanced. Okay, and he can only have 5. There's not 6 left. We had 7 and North's got 1. So actually an expert has suddenly put that there. And they would be regarding this hand as almost an open book. They think that South has the shape: 2 spades, 2 hearts, 4 diamonds and 5 clubs. Okay, so that's tough. And it's, I mean, you've got a chance of getting close to it if you're looking at this hand with me, spending 10 minutes looking at it. But obviously at the table it's tough. It's what comes with experience. So some of these things you put in hand, and particularly this idea of South not being balanced. So if you know South's no trump range and you know he fits in that, so you know he's got 12 to 14 points, then you're saying to yourself, I don't think he's got a balanced hand, so I've got to work out what hand he's got. And so we'd be placing him with this. Now, I'm not saying it's easy to play this hand now, but actually I would, you know, I've won the queen, I would probably cash the ace expecting South's king of hearts to fall. Okay. So let's look at the full hand and see if we're surprised. Okay. So there is the full hand, and you can see what South has left. So it's not the full hand, it's what South has left in his hand. And although it's open book, it's not a precise science, this. And what you're going to do is end up trying to end play South by letting him win his clubs. If North gets the hand exactly right, you may be defeated in 1 no trump by 1, but most of the time North is going to struggle here. But the point is, you would have taken your 3 tricks up to 6, more likely 7. Okay, Declarer is going to cash the ace of hearts, possibly play his clubs, ace of clubs in another club. South would win those clubs, and then play his ace of diamonds and another diamond probably. And if North gets everything right, you can just be defeated. This, for those of you who love looking at hands, this is a very, very intricate hand. So do have a look at it and play the hand out. I'm not going to play it out here. What I wanted to show you, okay, was the intricacies. So we're going to look at South's full hand in a moment, was to show how you can get a complete picture just from 1 bid. Okay, just from 1 bid. So do look at this hand later, some of you, and I'd love to have your feedback on it. Some of you who love looking at the intricacies. What I mean by the intricacies is that if North throws 3 diamonds, underneath the ace of diamonds, East can throw the king of diamonds and make an extra trick and make his contract. If North throws a heart at the wrong time, the East-West's 4th heart would be a winner. And if North throws a spade too early, then again, Declarer can make. So it's an interesting hand, and do have a look at it. It's one of those hands that is brilliant. Okay. All right, so let's look at the full hand. There it is. Okay. And the point that we made in the play was that we felt that South could not be balanced. So if we move the 2 of diamonds into the heart suit, so if you look at the South hand for me here, if you move the 2 of diamonds into the heart suit, South should have been opening 1 no trump. And interestingly, we'd have possibly finished in 1 no trump doubled, instead of by South, rather than 1 no trump by West. Okay, so once again, looking at the South hand, South, we felt that South had to, he had to have long clubs. Obviously he's opened clubs, but if he had been 5-3-3-2, he would have opened a no trump. Okay, so we've used that to our advantage. We knew he had to have almost all the points. Turned out that North did have another point. North had the jack of hearts. Okay, but North can't get the lead again, so we've managed to cut the spades off. So well done all of those who were ducking. South was the dealer, yes indeed, sorry about that. So South chose to open 1 club, and with the 2 tens, it's I think worthwhile opening there. And I don't mind, the club suit is good enough, so my plan may have been to rebid 2 clubs. So it went 1 club from South, 1 no trump overcall from West, and that was passed out. The king of spades was led, and we then put our brain on. We had to put our whole brain to action there and try to work out South's precise hand. And by doing that, we managed to make the king of hearts by ducking a heart, then taking our ace. And by then putting South on lead, we're forcing South to lead away from his diamond suit. So at the end of the hand, South has to lead away from his diamond suit. Okay, all right. For me, some of you might choose to open one no trump with the South hand, but with a weak spade suit and a good club suit, I think a club is better. Take the 10 of clubs away, okay, and then you might choose not to open at all or bid a no trump. But because the club suit is pretty decent, I do not mind opening one club and planning to rebid 2 clubs there with 3 of the top 5 cards in it. Okay. You can see North, you can see why North chose to lead a spade. Okay, so against one no trump, his partner's bid a club. But remember, when your partner opens a suit and the next hand overcalled one no trump, that one no trump overcall is usually showing a strong club holding. Okay, and with such a strong spade suit, it seems reasonable to lead the king of spades. If you'd had a doubleton club, perhaps you'd have led the king of spades and switched to a club, but I think leading the king of spades here is sensible. And it doesn't make much difference really, because your partner was forced in a way to play clubs himself. Okay, so a really intricate hand, but the idea is when there's information, rather like one no trump double, when you've got information, try and use it. You're not necessarily going to get a perfect picture of the hand like this, but you can try to work things out. Okay, and again, you'd feel that if North had had 6 diamonds in his hand, he might have been leading them or perhaps even bidding them. With 6 diamonds and 4 spades, when the auction goes one club, one no trump, you would expect North to bid 2 diamonds there. Okay. Okay, I wouldn't, with West there, I wouldn't want to make, sorry, with the South hand over one club, one no trump, you wouldn't want to be bidding again there. Okay, so let's look at one more hand and then we'll take a break. So this one is the other type of hand, which is slightly different. So this time East is the opening bidder. East is the opening bidder. I'm not going to put up the auction, but East has 15 points. And it's a reasonable one. Okay, the Jack, I suppose you could choose to downgrade it, but for me it's 15 points. Ace King is lovely. And the Jack, okay, bad, but it's not that bad. So I'm going to open this hand one heart, if that's okay. I usually open my major, and West chooses to respond one no trump. So it goes one heart, one no trump. And again, you're in a very different contract, aren't you? Okay, so instead of playing one no trump with the points hidden, dummy goes down with most of your points and your hand is a little exposed. The same lead, king of spades and 5 top tricks there. But the most common thing about these hands is you end up not having many entries to your hand. Okay, and we're going to see this as defenders in a week or two's time when I do the big seminar, as I call it, on defending against one no trump. We're going to be defending and thinking, declarer won't have many entries. So North South will be very pleased with themselves when the ace of spades gets knocked out, because they will be thinking, good, West, as in us, declarer, will not have many tricks left. Okay. So we've got 5 top tricks. To be honest, there's only really one place to make more. Is everybody happy? We're going to need some luck, but there's only really one more place to make more tricks, and that is in long suits, in your long suit. And so often in one no trump, when you're playing with a weak hand, you're not going to have many entries to that long suit. Okay, so we're going to try and get them from clubs. How are we going to play the club suit? And that's the crucial thing here. So we're going to duck in spades, and we're going to eventually probably win the ace of spades. And then you've got to choose how to play the suit. And the crucial thing here, and there's a lot of people ducking, and the important thing is that we must lead the first round from the west hand. Seems odd, doesn't it? Seems odd. But the problem is, it looks like we've got lots of stoppers in hearts and diamonds, and we do, as long as we don't remove one of them. And what we talked about in declaring one no trump, but also I'm going to talk about a lot in defending against one no trump, is two suits. In one no trump, we do not care that the defenders make all their spades, to be honest, but we do care if they manage to establish another suit. If I win the ace of spades and cross over to the east hand, I have taken away one of my high cards in that suit. I'm expecting probably to lose two club tricks. I'm hoping that either the ace of clubs is singleton or the ace is doubleton. Okay, I don't care who has it. I'm hoping that that either the suit breaks 2 and 2 or the ace is singleton. And that's quite a lot of time, don't forget. There's only 4 clubs. So if the suit breaks 3 and 1, a quarter of the time, the ace will be singleton. So by leading low from either hand. Now, if clubs are perfect, of course, I can make more tricks by crossing over to the east hand and leading a small one to the king. And by perfect, I mean if South has ace doubleton. But South having ace doubleton is not going to come up very often. Okay, and even if he does, I still hope to make the contract anyway. And that's what I'm going for. So the key here is I'm going to win the ace of spades and then play a small club from the west hand. I am not wasting one of my high cards in diamonds and hearts, and that's crucial. Okay, so we're ducking an early round of spades. So let's say we win the third round of spades, okay, with the ace. We then play a small club. And that's the whole hand. That's all I wanted to show you there. Okay, so let's just have a look at what I mean. Okay, so they followed to all 3 rounds of spades. Here's the hand. Okay, so East opened one heart. It went 1 no trump. And you can see the clubs happen to break 2-2. Okay, North has the ace. Okay, if North had had the ace singleton, of course, by leading a small club, the ace would have been played. Then we would have had to duck another club. It's tricky. So if North had had the ace singleton and South had had Queen Jack 10, you would play a club to the ace, lucky me. They'd take their spades, we'd win the next trick, we would then need to duck another club. And then we would win the king, etc. We want the king to win the third round of clubs. Can you see the idea? It's tricky. But we want the king because it's our only entry. So we want the king to win the third round of clubs. Either because the clubs break 2-2 or because the ace was singleton. So that is tricky, isn't it? Okay. But can you see that if you win the ace of spades and then cross over, and it is very tempting, you cross over to the ace of hearts, for example. Okay, and then you play a club and you're going to duck it. North wins his jack, takes his spades, and then plays hearts. Oh no, we took away the king of hearts, so he knocks out the ace of hearts now, and he's established his heart suit before we've knocked out the clubs. Can you see the idea? So I do not want to waste the ace and king of hearts and the ace and king of diamonds. Okay, so that is tricky. It is a tricky one. Okay, but again, it's just showing you the different concepts when you end up playing a 1 no trump contract with a weaker hand. So the whole of, on the site, what we've been looking at is that 1 no trump open, and that's the most common by a long distance. The most common 1 no trump contract you play is 12 to 14 points in your own hand. Or, don't get me wrong, if you're strong no trumpers, it will be 15 to 17. Okay, when you're responding 1 no trump, you're going to have a weak hand, and if those annoying defenders hit one of your entries, remember, as soon as they knock out your ace, and we'll be looking at this in a couple of weeks' time on the site, as defenders, if you're defending against this particular type of 1 no trump contract, if you've knocked out an ace at trick 1 from declarer, he's probably only got 1 high card left. You know, he's only got 6 to 9. He could have a bit more, but, you know, he could have 5 points more, but he's not going to have much more. And so you've done a good job. And if you can work out how to avoid him getting the lead with the other one or whatever, then in fact, he's going to struggle. Okay. So an interesting take on no trump hands then. Okay, so that's that's our little sojourn into other one-note trump contracts. Some of you are probably thinking, what do you mean other one-note trump contracts? How do you have other one-note? But other auctions to one-note trump, I suppose, would be the best thing. Okay, let's revisit the PowerPoint. Where am I? There, not PowerPoint, this. Okay, so there's your hand. So what did you think about it? So the first things first about this one is I love being non-vulnerable against a vulnerable when I've got weak hands. Now what I want you to tell me is, why do I like being non-vulnerable against vulnerable? Why? When I've got a weak hand, I should say. When I've got a weak hand, why do I like it? Why do I like it? Why do I like being non-vulnerable against vulnerable with a weak hand? It's not just because I can preempt, and it's not about liberties. It's because we can go for a sacrifice. Now, what I want you to know here is you are partnership. You are a partnership. Does this hand look like it's good for a sacrifice? This is horrible. You've got a nasty suit, and your Queen of Hearts and Queen Jack of Clubs could easily make tricks against the opponent's contract. Okay, they are defensive. So a few of you say not much defense. Actually, queens are good for defense. They are not good for attack. So if I ended up in 5 diamonds, which I would expect to, as you're going to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover that hand up now, because a lot of you, I think, will open 2 diamonds or even 3 diamonds. 3 diamonds is the most common bit. Sorry, someone did say 2 diamonds. So I'm going to put a 3 diamond bid there. Now I've got to change the configuration, bear with me. Just going to put a 3 diamond bid up. In fact, I won't do this, hold on a second. So let's go, I've just got to restart, oops, press the wrong button. So let's do that. That's what, so, it's gone 3 diamonds double. Now, okay, when my partner makes a preempt this vulnerability, okay, I look at my hand. As North, I would look at my hand, okay. I have very little defense in my hand, okay. So I don't expect to make a spade trick. I mean, if they're playing in 4 spades, I do, but let's say they finished in 4 hearts. Okay, if they finish in 4 hearts, I do not expect to make a spade trick, I do not expect to make a heart trick, and I do not expect to make a diamond trick. And I know that my partner's a good boy. He will not have more than 1 or maybe 2 defensive tricks. So if he's only got 2 defensive tricks at most, and I've only got 1, because I've got none in spades, none in hearts, and none in diamonds. Okay, because remember, by none in diamonds, I mean if my partner's got ace to 7, he has a defensive trick, but not me, because clearly there's a singleton somewhere. So bearing that in mind, if I've only got 1 defensive trick and he can have a maximum of 2, surely they are making 4 hearts. And if they're making 4 hearts, we've got a great sacrifice in 5 diamonds. Magic! So he bids 5 diamonds, and I think he's done the right thing. I think that's a perfectly reasonable bid from North. And 5 diamonds actually doesn't even get doubled. Okay, 5 diamonds and doesn't even get doubled. And let's have a look at the hands. So 5 diamonds doesn't get doubled. I mean, West might have doubled it, but he's maybe thinking you can make it. But it's a little bit disappointing, isn't it? It's a little bit disappointing because, can you see, look at your defense against 4 hearts. The Queen of Hearts ends up making the Jack of Hearts worth a trick. The Queen Jack of Clubs make the King worth 2. So simply move the Queen of Hearts out of the south hand, then I'm going to bid a 3 diamond bid. But when you've got queens for put, be very, very careful. Because now, it's different if you're playing with a different kind of partner, if your partner doesn't like bidding. When I bid 3 diamonds, I'm giving my partner permission to bid 5 diamonds. I'm saying, look at the vulnerability, partner, let's have some fun. But here, now you've got lucky, you weren't doubled. If you doubled, of course, you lose 4 tricks and you'd go down. The problem is, 2 off doubled is 300. They cannot make a game because South has too much defence in his hand. Can you see the problem? It's tricky, isn't it? But 4 hearts isn't making. This is what we call a phantom sacrifice, and it's South's fault. Now, I don't mind if you bid on South's hand, but understand that at this vulnerability, I love to sacrifice. I love to be annoying to the opponents. But I think North has made a great bid of 5 diamonds. And if I didn't have either of the queens, if I didn't have the Queen of Hearts or the Queen of Clubs, I would be bidding. You know, I'd be going for it. I'd be going 3 diamonds. My partner would bid 5 diamonds. It'd be aggressive bidding. We'd go 3 off. And that would be a good score. If I don't have the 2 queens, the opponents make a comfortable 5 hearts or 5 spades. Well, no, 5 hearts. Okay? And 620 instead of us going 500. But here, because of those queens, can you see that Declarer loses a heart trick, he loses 2 club tricks, and he loses a diamond trick. And that's not counting for any misdemeanors that might happen in the play. So again, if you are happy to open 3 diamonds, please do, but understand the consequences. If you've got queens and jacks, or even a king and a short suit, those kind of holdings are much better for defensive play. Those of you who've seen me talk about preempts know how much I love ace queen jack to 7, king queen jack 10 to 7, nothing else. If I've got king queen jack 10 to 7, I love it because I've got no defense. The south hand there has got oodles of defense. That's tricky. That is tricky. Okay, I'm not opening 1 diamond. Thank you, Mohammed. A good point there. Sorry, I'm not opening at all. Okay, if you don't whatever you do, open a diamond with this hand, because you're going to end up having to rebid that suit and your partner will think you're much, much better than that. Okay, so I would choose to pass. Okay, simply, ironically, I mean, the diamond suit's not exactly something to write home about anyway, so it's not, you know, the only time I'd contemplate opening a diamond suit like this is at non-vulnerable, okay? But the key thing here is that it's those queens that are annoying me. Throw the queens away and I'm opening 3 diamonds, which seems odd because some of you are thinking, yes, but you'll then be weaker. That's exactly the point. Okay, I feel I've got the outside strength is making me uncomfortable because I want North to bid 5 diamonds. Now, if your partner wouldn't bid 5 diamonds with the North hand, then open 3 diamonds. But I want North to be able to bid 5 diamonds. Does that make sense? Okay. In fact, some of my partners would probably bid 3 no trumps with that hand. Okay. All right. Well, let me talk about things, and that's so. My father has recovered brilliantly from his cancer and is on great form, I have to say, which is brilliant. However, time has been catching up with him, and all sorts. Everything's combined together, and as a number of you now know, he has chosen to retire. You know, with coronavirus and cancer and everything coming together, that's made a lot of sense. And 3 years ago, I was on. We were celebrating 30 years of Mr. Bridge in so many various ways, on cruises, on weekends, and also on a river cruise. In fact, I remember that well. I was on with Sandy Bell, and we did 2 river cruises back to back and had a wonderful time celebrating with cakes and parties and all sort. And it doesn't seem so long ago. Well, actually, in some ways, it does seem a lot have changed. And last year we had a wonderful party. We had a wonderful summer party for my father's 80th as well. So much celebrating done. And there was believe me, there was no concept of retirement or anything like that in the equation at all. And over the last 30 years, my father has been amazing. He's been Mr. Bridge has done so many things in the sphere of UK bridge, and as you know, he's transformed all sorts of things, bridge and bridge holidays. I mean, he's not always seen eye to eye with the establishment. I think there's probably one way of putting it. Okay, but he has. I mean, he's paved the way for so many changes in the way things are done, and it's been brilliant. And not only that, his work for charity, endless. I mean. Always amazed, but anybody who ever sent anything in, anybody who had a charity event going, they would write in, and he'd always send prizes or do something for them, or put the event in the magazine and all sorts. And you know, it's going to leave a great hole, a great hole. So what does it mean? What does it mean? Well, when I first started this, this Bernard Magee bridge, it was, I coined a phrase, didn't I? I said, I am planning to bridge the gap back to bridge. And I'm going to be honest, that is still my plan. And I want to get back to running bridge events and doing all sorts of things. So that is the plan. So those of you who do weekends and cruises, I'm hoping that we'll get back there. Well, I'm sure we will. I mean, you know, I love doing them. And Bernard Magee Bridge as a company, etc. My aim, I mean, it's a family company. I've got my wife involved now, but my father has. I've been working for him for a long time, and we've been together for a long time, funnily enough. But, you know, you could say pretty much all our lives. I think, you know, obviously as a child, I spent time there. I was one of many children, so less close, perhaps. But I'm hoping that I'll carry on the same ethos, the same style, the same everything. And in fact, you will recognise some of the people that will come into my office, because we'll be carrying some of the staff over from Mr. Bridge into Bernard Magee Bridge. And yes, I mean, that's a good idea, John. We should get Alfie involved. Yeah, we'll need to get him involved as well. I have a feeling that might take a little bit of time. But actually, the two people are coming into the office to help would love to get involved training Alfie, I'm sure. So, you know, what does it mean for the future? Well, I'm looking to do lots of things, and I want you to help me. You know, so on the site, I'm going to talk about how quickly we might do things, get involved. I mean, as a family, we talked about the prospects of bridge events, etc. And that's, you know, and we quite quickly assessed that even if by some miracle, I don't know, someone actually gave you permission to run an event for, in inverted commas, shielders. I know not all of you are shielders, don't get me wrong, but a good proportion. When I do an event, I would expect a reasonable proportion of the clients on the event to be shielders. So we decided that the chances are that being inside and, you know, playing an event this year was going to be a struggle. So as you know, we've cancelled the Christmas weekends in Denham and New Year, and I love those, and we always have. We've had Christmas events for so long, and New Year I have been doing, I think it's nearly 10 years now, and I love it. You know, and I'd love to. I want to carry some of that to the site. I mean, I'd love to, you know, celebrate in various ways. Obviously, I'm not going to celebrate in the same way by dancing and doing all sorts, and Helen doing the disco and Alfie being up and all, you know. But I want to have some celebration on the site, and I want to do things on the site. I'm planning to do some news, and I want you to respond to the news, okay? And I want to understand things about it. And I'm looking into beginners. Someone's saying about beginners there, beginners and novices. I've got some more. I know a few more have joined quite recently, and I want to have more about beginners on the site. So we are looking to that. And we're going to put stuff about holidays and things like that. And when, you know, obviously there's got to be a gap before it happens, because I've got to promote them, you know, but I would love to get back to it. I mean, I love it. I like doing these lives because I feel I'm interacting a little, but it's not really the same. You know, seeing people enjoy it and getting their feedback, etc., and doing set hands at a table. Gosh, it's lovely. You know, I'm looking for you to respond. I'm looking for you to give me your ways. And I want to carry Mr. Bridge forward. I want to, you know, the company's Bernard Magee Bridge, don't get me wrong. That is the company name, but I want to carry on doing what we have been doing as a family. Okay. And obviously those of you know Leonora, she's taking a break from things, etc. after she's helped with my father. But you know, it's been a family. It's been a family event, and now I've got Helen involved, and believe me, you know, we're going to carry that on, and I want you to help us do that. We're going to look at the quiz in a moment, just before I break down. Let's go. So let's have a look at the quiz, and then I will sum up what we've talked about. Okay. So we've got a heart from your partner, one spade from you, one no trump from your partner. One heart, one spade, one no trump. Okay, one heart, one spade, one no trump, and it's your bid. Assume, I don't mind if you choose to bid one of your conventions, but assume you're sitting down with a partner you've never played with before. Okay, sitting down with a partner you've never played with before, and therefore, as I say, some of you will bid what's called check back, but that's not on the equation, as it were, because you're playing with someone you sat down with and you forgot to maybe check. Okay, so a heart, a spade, one no trump, and it's your bid. Okay. So I'm going to put some information, some news on the site, and do come over. We're going to try, if you're not on the site already, come over and see us. On Friday, we're talking about week twos. So we're going to talk about week twos, okay? And we're going to have some fun. And of course, week twos will start off nice and simple, and that is the plan there. So come and see us at bernardmageebridge.com. One other thing to note, I am hoping to carry on doing all sorts of things, but remember, if you're not a member and you haven't at least given us your email, we won't be able to be in contact with you. So if you do want us to email you things, etc., well then of course, do come to the site and at least give us your email, and you can be in contact that way. Hope you enjoyed it today. I think the storm has passed here, and I'm glad that we got through it, because the lightning and thunder was a bit of fun, and hopefully my son enjoyed it as well. He's been looking forward to seeing a little bit of lightning and thunder. So thank you very much. Have a nice week. I'm playing teams on Wednesday. We're doing our strong no trump, giving that a go on Wednesday. And one more thing. Surely I've got three cards here. Brian Wiggins. Brian Wiggins is our winner. I can't see these cards, and he is the number 3. Number 3. So he'll be in position number 3 at our prize winning table at the end of the month. That's Brian Wiggins. So congratulations to Brian Wiggins. And thank you very much, everybody.